Most people are just simply afraid to put in the work. That's just how it is. And most of you want the quick, easy way to find a quick client. And it doesn't happen like that. Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Don Felker. On this channel I teach you how to start and thrive as an independent consultant so you can live a life of autonomy and financial freedom and all that stuff. Anyway, the question that's getting asked a lot is, how do I find my first client and where do I find that client? And ultimately what this is going to come down to is sharing what you know. And that means through blogging, through videos such as this, through writing on any type of platform. Could be for a magazine, could be for your own blog, could be through creating a podcast, going on other people's podcasts, putting out a training video on how to do X, Y, and Z in a particular technology. It can be any sort of thing. Speaking on a stage at a conference, and I know some conferences are all virtual right now, but even volunteering to go to those conferences is something that's a humongous benefit to you and to others out there. But the core principle that underlies all this is sharing. And now you may be wondering, what does sharing have to do with getting my first client? I don't understand. In fact, it has everything to do with it. When you are a mobile developer or even a software developer in general, people find out about you just from the work that you do and being out there. When you educate other people and you help other people, they learn what you're capable of. And when you do that over and over and over, people will start reaching out to you, saying, hey, I have this problem at my company. Can you come help solve it? I saw you write about it on your blog. Or, hey, I've listened to your podcast and we would really like you to work for us. Now you might be thinking, okay, Don, well, you have a successful podcast in software. You have done a bunch of videos and you've spoken at conferences. So yeah, it's easy for you to say all that and clients are coming to you. So it's not easy for me. I've never done any of that. But what most people don't realize is that I started at the exact same place that you did. With nothing. I had zero followers. I had no blog readers. I had no podcast listeners with my co-host. I had nothing. So I definitely know what it's like to come from there. And how did I start? It was by sharing information. And I would set a schedule for myself. Say, hey, I'm going to put out a video or a blog post or whatever. And very early on, before I started doing any type of video, I did everything on the blog, which was my blog at donfelker.com. And I just started sharing things I learned. I might even share very odd things, such as a weird error message that I would find when I was programming that there was no Google results for, which still happens to this day when you work with any form of technology whatsoever. You're going to find something and all of a sudden there's no error message that you can find on YouTube to help fix it or on Google. If I'm able to solve that problem, I would then immediately go create a blog post with that error message inside the title and inside the blog post and explain how I solved it. Now, I may not get any traffic for that for quite a while, but however, eventually people will start finding it because they will encounter that error too. And you might be the only result because no one else has talked about it. And you're the first person. And this does happen. Now, people might be thinking, everything's been done already. You can't do that. That's wrong. Just yesterday, I was working in React and I ran into a hierarchy error of some sort with a particular library. I Googled for it, there's no results for it, zero. It happens to be with this particular version mismatch after digging into it, and I know how I need to fix it and I haven't done it yet, but when I do, I'm gonna write a simple blog post about it, and here's how I fixed it. Now what that does is someone's not gonna hire you because you've solved a problem, but they're going to find your blog and eventually that could lead to an opportunity because they might also see on your blog of, hey, who's this person? They click on your header, it takes you to the home page. They see that maybe you've written about a design pattern that you're using or how to test things differently or whatever. What I'm ultimately getting at is just sharing your knowledge over and over and over out there is valuable. People are going to find a lot of value in this. So that's the key here to getting your first client, is sharing your knowledge out there. And the thing that most people don't want to hear is this: it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to write one blog post and then 10 clients are going to come in. You're not going to write 10 blog posts and then 10 clients are going to come in. You might even write 50 blog posts and no clients come in. But the thing is, you have to just be consistent with doing it. Now, it could be one blog post this week. It could be another one next week. It could be demonstrating how to do something on a video and uploading it to YouTube or some other education platform. There's all different types of ways to do this. It could be various different ways. But just getting your content out there is going to be what's going to get you the actual first client. Because eventually what will happen is people will reach out through your contact page on your blog. They'll reach out to you through on Twitter. They'll reach out to you on LinkedIn. And eventually you'll find an opportunity. Now this opportunity may become masked as something else that you don't even recognize. Hey, can you talk to us quickly about using React versus using Android or iOS? Is that something you can do? You might decide to hop on a call for free and just talk to someone. Yeah, sure, no problem. I don't need to charge you, which I've done. And then before you know it, I've talked to them and they've realized maybe that I know what I'm talking about in a particular field. And then all of a sudden that turns into, hey, are you available for consulting? Is that something you could build for us? Or do you know anybody? Like, oh, actually, I could do that. Boom, all of a sudden, consulting opportunity. So they're kind of all hidden out there in various different ways. People aren't going to come out and say, hey, well, I'm going to hire you for $150 an hour, for 40 hours a week, for 3 to 6 months. No, you got to go in and put the work out there. You have to share your information. You have to kind of put in the time and speak to people. And that's going to be the best way you're going to get your first client. Start sharing. Start sharing now. Even if you're a mobile developer, let's say you're an Android and you want to talk about the activity lifecycle, you have to realize that right now, there are still a ton of people that are coming into the mobile development world that don't really understand the activity lifecycle. And the posts from 2 or 3 years ago that you learned it from are maybe out of date because maybe a function call has changed, or maybe there's a new method, or things have changed in the platform a little bit. You can write about it. Even if someone wrote about it last week, you can write about it in your own special way that may resonate with somebody different for whatever reason. Once you write those things, you actually have to go promote them too. So that means posting them on different types of forums. Maybe you can go on Reddit into a subreddit, post it on there. You can have conversations on Facebook and Instagram and create a following in that regard. But ultimately, you're getting out there and sharing your information. That's how people learn about you. Because if you just stay at home in your own little bubble or in your home office, your basement, wherever, and you don't get yourself out there, then how is anybody going to know that you're out there? How is anybody going to know what you can do? When you're a consultant, you're seen as a leader in your field. So you have to get out there and lead. And you do that by continually sharing knowledge and helping everybody else out there. Eventually, someone's going to see that and need your help. Now, it would be remiss if I didn't mention recruiters. Recruiters are actually what I call the life vest or the life preservers of consultants, contractors. Why? Because sometimes when you can't find a client and you need one because your contract is ending, you can reach out to recruiters and say, hey, I'm looking for a 3 to 6 month gig with these technologies. What you'll find is very quickly they're going to find something. Now, it may not be at the rate that you want. It may not be with the clients that you want, but this will get you in the door doing things at a client, especially if you're in a rough place between a couple of clients. So the things to take away from this video is, number one, share everything that you know, because even though you're telling someone how to do something, doesn't mean they're going to do it right, or doesn't even mean they're going to do it at all. You're just demonstrating the knowledge that you have. And number two, keep doing it over and over. Put it on a schedule. I advise that you create some type of schedule and you stick to it. Now, this could be just one blog post a week. You need to do something that you can stick with. Don't come out of the gate too hot saying, I'm going to do 5 blog posts a week and 2 videos and 1 podcast. No, flip it on its head. Do the exact opposite. Take it slow. Do something that you can manage and stick with that cadence. If you realize that cadence is even too low after a couple of weeks or a month or 2, and you've kind of lived the seasons of life, sort of, up it a little bit. Maybe do 2 blog posts a week, or a blog post and a video per week. Just keep executing on it and keep over and over and over, and everything will snowball. And eventually what you're going to find is people are going to start reaching out to you for clients. This has happened to folks that have just done YouTube videos that I know that are just talking about programming. People eventually reach out to them for consulting. This has happened to people that have done strictly blogs only. I've known people who have only answered questions on Stack Overflow for a year or 2 at a time, and then all of a sudden, consulting opportunities come in. But the thing to know here that you really need to be aware of is that it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to do 1 or 2 of these things and then there's this magical funnel of consulting clients. It just doesn't happen. You have to put in the work, and it's hard work. But if you put in the work and you continually put in the work, what you will find is that you can find an endless stream of consulting clients coming your way. But you got to get that snowball going first. Hope that helps. I'll catch you next time.